It's time now for the big interview, and today I'm chatting to Azande Sigio, who is 27 years old, born and bred in Cape Town, and she's part of the RX Radio team. She's a content producer. She joined RX Radio in January this year. Before that, she worked in the multimedia department of a newspaper media house, and she has experience in child participation programs. She studied journalism at Rhodes and majored in anthropology, and because both these subjects allow her to learn and engage with people in different ways. Currently, she lives with her cousins in their grandparents' family home in Guguletu, and the reason I'm chatting to her today is because Azande has overcome COVID-19 and is our only guest we've had on the show that has overcome COVID-19. She's our first guest right here on RX Radio Breakfast who's overcome the virus. So it's going to be incredible to talk to her and find out what that whole journey and experience has been like. And then just remember that these interviews we do conduct over the internet, so apologies for the quality if it's not up to scratch and not like we normally have with our studio when we're able to use our studio. Obviously, because of the lockdown, we're using new methods, including internet like this. So Azande, it must have been a pretty difficult time with your cousin getting it and then you getting it. So what procedures did you have to follow once you found out that you had COVID-19 in terms of the quarantining, etc.?
Okay, yes. So my cousin went into her isolation first, and during that time, it was when we started cleaning the house like hectically. We were bleaching everything and sterilizing everything because we also live with a baby, so the house had to be cleaned down. I had to then prepare my room to isolate. I bought 2 buckets and then a big plastic bath so that I could bath in my room. And all my toiletries were moved to the room after being cleaned. I changed my bedding for a set of fresh bedding. I got new cutlery, like plastic cutlery and paper plates, so that I could dispose of everything that I used and that I wouldn't have to share with the people I live with. We got some protective gear to protect the people who were going to be helping me. So we got more masks. We also got like gloves just to use in interaction purposes and completely dispose of straight after that interaction. And yes, I got lots and lots of bottles of water stored in my room. I got a kettle in my room and quite an extensive like medicine cabinet. Yeah.
And during this time, who was your biggest support, or who or what supported you and helped you get through this time?
Of course, my parents, after they got over the initial shock, because they were pretty shocked, they were up and down trying to get anything that they heard anywhere that could help with the healing process. So they were quite present in phone calls. My family called a lot. A lot of it was curiosity. A lot of it was words of encouragement. A lot of it was overwhelming because, you know, everyone is just on edge trying to find out how you're feeling and are you worse? Are you better? A lot of people think we're nervous because when I was growing up, asthma. So people were worried about that being affected and flaring up. I got a lot of comfort from my friends as well. I didn't tell a lot of people because, like I said, it became overwhelming. I think a lot of people were concerned because of the news that you hear on a daily basis and the numbers. And it was just kind of hard to having to keep on explaining that my case is not as hectic and it's pretty mild as compared to what's out there. And a lot of people, I think, not to their fault, when they spoke to me, sounded a lot more concerned than I needed to be. So I stopped talking to people and just, you know, kept my group small. My younger cousin, who also lives with me, was my caregiver. She was absolutely amazing through this time because she's the one who prepared my food, prepared all the warm stuff that I had to drink on top of me preparing it for myself. She brought me bath water. She disposed of my bath water, disposed of my rubbish. So she was very great in that role. And of course, the RX Radio team has been absolutely great and a very, very useful and a much appreciated sounding board for me, because that just increased the number of people I had who were going to be supportive and understanding of my situation.
Wow, it sounds like definitely it's been a long process overcoming COVID-19, but that you've had people there. Azande, thank you so much for joining me this morning, sharing that and shedding light on what it's actually like to go through a positive testing for COVID-19 and being able to overcome the virus. So thank you so much for joining me this morning.
You're listening to RX Radio.
For and by children.
RX Radio. RX Radio rocks.